them talk if they want to. Talk don't bother me. I want the whole wide world to know that I love.
And welcome to Let 'Em Talk. I'm Paul DeRienzo.
And I'm Miss Joan Moossy.
We have another great performance-oriented show with Frank Hoier, a great folk musician who's going to be here. He's going to play some original music, and we're going to take your calls. The number's on the screen, 212-757-1538.
Welcome, Frank.
Welcome,
Thank
Frank.
you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. And so we're looking forward to a great show. Tell us a little bit about why you're here in the sense of your new CDs coming out.
Well, I'm promoting for my album release party this Saturday night, June 7th, at 10 p.m. down in Red Hook, Brooklyn, at the Jalopy Theater, which is an emerging kind of American music venue in New York. It's really cool. It's got a big, beautiful wood stage and red velvet curtains and church pews to sit in, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm having a rock and roll band back me, who actually they play with Ronnie Hawkins currently. They're like the sons of the Hawks, I guess you could say.
And it's free.
It's
so
free, and
everybody can afford to go.
And it's a catered event.
Oh.
I'm gonna have some free.
And food.
My friend who cooks very well is gonna make some food.
Oh, great! So tell folks again how to get there. How do you get there? Do you know the nearest train station or?
Yeah, you could take the F or the G to Carroll, and then there's directions. There's a little map on the website, jalopy.biz, B-I-Z.
All right, Jalopy. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So we'll talk more about
For
that.
your album.
And frankhoier.com. I put the map on there.
Okay,
All right,
great.
spell that for us so people know how to spell your name and look it up on the internet. You got to know how to spell a name these days.
Yep. It's a hard one too. H-O-I-E-R. So
H-O-I-E-R.
F-R-A-N-K-H-O-I-E-R.
Right, great.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been playing folk music for and writing your own songs and things?
Well, I've been writing my own songs in American music styles for about 5 years. I was just a kid who liked to play guitar, and I heard the Beatles and Bob Dylan, and I wanted to understand why that music was so much. It resounded in me so much more than anything else, and so it got me to. You know, Bob led to Woody Guthrie and all the Delta blues men, and the Beatles led to Chuck Berry and Little Richard. I just totally love American music, and
well, you know, we just heard about the tragic passing of Bo Diddley.
Yes, I did.
One of the great musicians of the genre you're discussing, and Chicago blues, I guess. And tell us a little bit about your influences and how you came
now,
to
did you study
first
music?
here. Yeah.
Or
I only studied music by learning to play the records. I'd put the records on. And
Yeah,
my family
what
is
I'm getting at,
musicians,
yeah.
so we have musical ears.
Right, so you grew up with guitars and instruments and everything hanging around the house and playing guitar. Did you have like family hootenannies and sing-alongs and things like that?
Not really. My dad kind of, by the time I was getting into guitar, he was kind of fed up with it. He had some bum deals early on when he's a fantastic songwriter, and he had a hard time. He had some crooked people. Kind of, he was taking a big break by the time I was getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Did you learn from that experience?
Well, yes, actually, yeah.
Yeah, the music business is a tough one.
It's probably, I think it's, other than like real estate, it's probably the most crooked.
Right. Well, Bo Diddley wrote that, or said that his big mistake, and I've heard this from other artists and other genres as well, was when you're hungry and you're starving and you need a buck to sell a song for a flat fee. Like, oh, here's my song for $300. I finally got a meal, and then next thing you know, the record company's making $300 million off of it.
Yeah, it didn't sound like a good deal, does it?
Right. It doesn't sound like a good deal in the end.
That's why whenever I'm hungry, I street perform.
That's great.
I don't know,
So
I'll
you
just
do
play
that
a
around
song.
the city.
I don't have to, yeah, I play it in the subway and in Chelsea Market sometimes on Sundays to the kids. I love playing to them. They're the most enthusiastic people. I sing "Skip to My Lou," and I have like 25 kids causing a riot. And they're just like, and they
I
sing.
can see it.
Every time every song is done, I hear, "More!" A little girl screamed more.
All right. Well, let's hear one of your songs to start it off. And Frank Hoier, and our number is 212-757-1538. And I've checked the phones; they should be working, so we should get your call this time.
Call in if you have anything to
Cross our
ask.
fingers.
Excellent.
All right, go for it, Frank.
Hoier.
Okay, well, the show is going to be pretty much a rock and roll thing because I'm going to have stand-up bass and electric guitar, but I'll play kind of more of the folky songs. This is a song I wrote when I was living up in Harlem, and I was listening to a lot of Woody Guthrie, and I was reading Al Franken books. I really like him a lot, and this just kind of came out. I've come to think of it as, well, some people say that America is a Christian nation, so I guess this is an American song. This is, I won't tell you the title, I'll just play it. Well, you may get a job you ain't even qualified for. You may even get out of fighting in a war. You may live your whole life, never have to sweep a floor, but Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich. Lord God, Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich. When you get to heaven and you knock upon the gate, well, you may think you can walk right in, but someone will say, wait. No tax break giving right-wing president gonna help your fate, cause Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich. Lord God, Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich. You may beg and plead and say you never harmed no one, but you ain't never helped nobody either. What good have you done? If you believe in Jesus, why sleep with one hand on a gun? Oh, Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich. Lord God, Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich. So all you greedy, wealthy people sitting high up on a throne, save up all your money, keep it for yourself alone, but Judgment Day may find what it's like to weep and moan, cause Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich. Lord God, no, Jesus don't give tax breaks to the rich.
All right. It's so funny you picked that one to play because I was going to ask you about that song.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I didn't actually hear it yet.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I was, my mom and my whole mom's side of my family's Christian. I was always raised Christian. I'm not a Christian, but I don't have anything against Christianity, really. I just, I think it's a excellent book. It's got a lot of great things to say, but I think a lot of people who say they're following it are not at all. And I was just thinking about the war and the whole right-wing government and everything. It just bums me out, and so I got a little upset and I wrote a song.
You're a big fan of George Bush.
Well, if he's a comedian, then yeah.
I also heard a song about Jerry Falwell.
Oh yeah, I wrote it. I wrote a song when Jerry Falwell died because it was just a joke song. I mean, it was called "The Death of Jerry Falwell," and the chorus was "Hallelujah, Jerry Falwell's dead." And I wrote that song because I think that he really, I mean, some people say he did good for, some people, but I really do think he did a lot of bad also, and so I had to get that off my chest. I don't want to, I don't think he was a very good man, in my humble opinion.
Do you consider yourself a political songwriter, or just some of your songs political, or?
Yeah, all my songs are definitely not political, but I feel, I have a lot of opinions, and I feel very strongly about that, the world needs to go in a different direction. So I have to write songs about it.
Well, what's the affinity of folk musicians and political principles and political stands and left-wing politics and all those kinds of things? It seems to be throughout its history. I was just watching a program the other day about Pete Seeger,
Yeah,
and
that film
Oscar
about him was
Brand and
excellent.
all these incredible folks, who, when I was a little kid and for generations have been playing political music, and Bob Dylan, of course. And,
Yeah, I'm very influenced by all of them.
And the history, of course, of riding the rails and Woody Guthrie and all that, and Arlo Guthrie, and it goes on and on and on. What is that affinity? What does a folk musician feel when they pick up a guitar that they have to sing out something like that?
Well, I think that if you are riding the rails and riding around and kind of you have a free spirit, you see how it's just an unbearably silly thing to own land and to own things, and just the way that that business is so harmful to people, and you're kind of running. So maybe that's why folk musicians they've kind of tuned out of the whole game of it all, and maybe because they play music, they're more in tune with their soul and their heart than most people, I think, probably, although that's not true of all musicians.
But one thing that we've talked to a lot of artists about is collaboration, and of course with music, it's just about inevitable. So I was wondering about some of the people you've played with, like who do you who's going to be the band on Saturday? And
the band is the Weber Brothers, Weber, and they're some friends that I just happened to pick up at an open mic in Los Angeles, of all places, and I saw them play like Hank Williams, Bob Dylan, and early Beatles, so I knew we were going to be friends for life, because that's my heroes, and they're so good, and it was when I was first starting out about 5 years ago, and they just blew my mind. Now they blow my mind even more. They're just
Now, did
really
you grow
great.
up in Los Angeles?
I did. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I left there when I was 23. I've been living in New York for about 3.5 years now.
All right, great.
I much prefer it.
You do?
Yeah.
East Coast.
Yeah, I won't go back to LA. Nothing against it, but
Nice weather.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely nice weather.
Tell us about your record release party.
That's gonna be a really great time, because the band is gonna play with me, the Weber Brothers, and then they're gonna close the night and play an hour of their stuff. We're gonna be performing all the songs that we recorded together about 5 months ago. We went into a real studio and recorded it to tape, because that's all my favorite music I'm influenced by was definitely not recorded on computers. So I wanted to go record analog. Yeah,
the old style.
The sound really came out amazing. I had it mastered by an analog guy up in Toronto, and it really came together.
What's the name of the album?
The album is called Lovers and Dollars.
Right, and it's this Saturday in Brooklyn. Tell me the name of the place again.
Jalopy Theater.
Okay, the Jalopy Theater, and just go on their website, jalopytheater.biz.
Oh, it's just Jalopy.
Jalopy.biz.
JALOPY.biz.
And they'll give you directions to get there.
Right. Great.
Or frankhoier.com.
Right. Frank, spell that for everybody.
FRANKHOIER.
Right.
.com.
All right, great. So that'll be on the 7th, right?
And what time
Yeah,
is
that's the
that?
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
It's 10 p.m.
10 p.m. All right,
All
great.
right.
So what about another song?
Yes,
All
we're
right.
ready for another
Ready to hear
tune.
something.
Go
Sure.
for it.
All right, excellent.
Frank Hoier.
Hoier.
All right. Let's see. What am I going to do here? Actually, I'll do the song Lovers and Dollars. This is a open tune, blues influenced kind of thing. I tune up to open E. Tuning up is not always a good idea. Sometimes I snap a string. So this is something I kind of wrote listening to a lot of Blind Willie McTell and like Book of White, lots of that old blues, and I kind of put my own take on it. my little darling, don't you let me down. Ain't no time in this life for no fooling around. Hounds are howling when I'm walking by your gate. The sun is breaking day. Am I early, oh babe, am I too late? Well, if you don't love me, why don't you tell me so? I got to know now where I should go back home. Hounds are howling when I'm walking by your gate. Sun is breaking day. Am I early, oh babe, am I too late? Well, lovers and dollars, they may come and go. Just don't confuse your love with diamonds and gold. Hounds are howling when I'm walking by your gate. Sun is breaking day. Am I early, oh babe, am I too late?
All right.
A little improvised ending.
That was really great.
Thank you very much.
Frank Hoier on the slide guitar.
You know, I wanted to ask you about this song that's on your website.
Oh yeah, I've made up my
Made Up
mind.
My
That rock,
Mind.
that's like the rockinest one. I decided to put that one up. Maybe it'd get people's attention.
It's an incredible song, though.
Thank you very much. It's kind of like a. Well, when I wrote it, I was listening to a lot of Beatles live at the BBC, so it's kind of like that.
I think that could
Rockin'
be like
John
a huge
Lennon.
hit.
Oh, thank you.
I do.
I kind of do too.
It's
that's
got
that's
that
something out of
iconic
nowhere.
survival anthem sort of quality
thank you.
to it.
Well, let's
That's
talk
really
about the-
fantastic.
And the boys really did a good job playing on that one.
It's an
They
amazing
rocked hard.
Song. Everybody go there and listen.
It's on the website, frankhoier.com.
Yeah, it is. It's up.
You can see right there, Frank, Hoier.com.
Yeah.
Frank, well, that's an interesting subject because the whole transition from folk to electric, it's been so controversial, at least according to the history books and the movies
Yeah.
and documentaries I've been
Kinda
seeing.
silly.
I mean, when you went
AJ?
electric, did anybody come with an axe?
Yeah.
That was the old story of Pete Seeger's axe.
Yeah, it's all.
When
quite-
Bob
quite
Dylan went
silly,
electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of I don't I have a lot of gripes about that because I really think that you know, Dylan was I just have immense respect for him. I mean, I take his words to be like philosophy. I think he's unbelievable. His music, every style of his music was fantastic to me, and I think it was the times back then they wanted. I don't know. I really don't know why people got so mad that he went electric. I wish people would go so mad that I did. Then they write about me.
Paying attention, right?
Then they write about me in New York Times. Frank Hoier goes electric.
It's terrible.
Don't go. I bet a bunch of people would go.
That's right. That's right.
It really actually just made the whole Dylan myth even more interesting to me, really, that everybody, because when I go and listen to Dylan at Albert Hall with the Hawks, the band, I just hear some of the most like energized rock and roll I've ever heard. I mean, they really, they hit a plateau, and I think there's nowhere he could have gone from there. He had to pretend to have a motorcycle accident and then record like some country albums, because you couldn't go any crazier than that.
Right.
That stuff, like Tell Me Mama, I love that song. That's the kind of stuff I love.
So you're basically self-taught guitar player.
Yeah,
It's all self-taught. How did you teach yourself how to play slide guitar?
Well, I just heard a couple simple things at first, and then I think at one point I realized, well, wow, how do they get that sound? How does it sound so good? Because if you did that on a standard,
That's
yeah,
the slide, right.
yeah, if you did that on a standard tuned guitar, it would sound terrible. But I tune it open so that it's a full chord. I kind of figured that out one day. I was just kind of like, why does it sound so good? And then I thought, and then I think I looked it up on the internet, and it said like Muddy Waters, like I think they call it Spanish open G tuning, and that's the first thing I learned. This is open E. I developed that myself because of the song Lovers and Dollars. Lots of people playing open E, but I hadn't heard anyone do that until
Well, let's
there's
take
a good key for my voice for that song.
I notice you don't use a regular pick. You're using the finger picking style.
Yeah,
right?
this is a blues guy thing too. It's because they usually would play by themselves, so they had to be two guitars at one. They with the thumb do that and then go. Get much more of a sound out of it.
Right, and let's talk about the slide on your finger there. That's
it's just $7 from Guitar Center.
Right, and that's an interesting instrument. I mean, a device to use to play the instrument. It's got an interesting history, doesn't it? I mean,
oh yeah. I think people used first medicine bottles maybe or knives. The old blues guys would use a knife.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. So, and they'd play it in their lap like this. I think like Charlie Patton, that kind of stuff.
Straight down.
He would just put it in his lap and.
Anything special about that guitar, or is it just? A favorite guitar?
Actually, this is my dad's guitar. This is like a
how
'68 Martin. So he bought this when he was a young man, and he dinged it up a lot. It's a really beautiful guitar. He's playing again. I think I got him into songwriting again, and he's taken off.
Good.
He bought himself his dream guitar, like a Gibson Hummingbird. So I said, "Can I have your junk, you old Martin?"
I'll take the Martin.
He's like, "You're the working musician in the family. You should have it." So he gave me this awesome.
Great.
These are worth a lot of money, actually.
It's excellent.
Wow.
It's a beautiful instrument.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Beautiful.
Sounds great. Yeah.
It's
Well,
really
Frank
amazing.
Hoier, we only have a few minutes left. I want to fit in one more song. Tell us about your party, your record release party. It's going to be this Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday,
The
June 7th, in case you forgot, 10 p.m. And it's a catered event. There's free food.
And it's free to get in.
It's
which
free
we
to get
forgot
in.
mention
You don't
last
have to
time.
buy an album, you know. I'm trusting you probably will if you come, so bring $10.
That's right.
Oh, and there's $2 beer down there if you go down to Brooklyn. It's not Manhattan prices. It's like, you're not going to pay $4 for a PBR. It's,
Great, and that's over in Red Hook. And you can go to frankhoier.com.
and the directions are at the bottom of the page at frankhoier.com. So.
Right, at the Jalopy.
Yeah,
Jalopy.com.
Jalopy Theater.
Biz.
All right, .biz.
Look it up. It's got a lot of good press.
All right,
So
let's
great.
fit in another song. We got a couple minutes.
All right, Frank.
Okay, let's see. I'll play, I hope I'm in tune. Sometimes when you tune up, you go out of tune with the harmonicas. I won't play harmonicas too. It's a little bit out of tune. But this is a song I usually end with. That's it. This is a song I wrote. It's on the album. It's called 41st Street Blues. As I was walking down 41st Street by Bryant Park, and I saw this girl walking with a cast on her leg, and I thought she looked good, even though she probably thought she looked silly. And I got to thinking about how, you know, everybody looks good to somebody, so this is a song for the damaged people. Oh, baby, walking with your cast on, don't be so blue. You look so good in that one cute shoe, you look good to me. Well, you look good to me. You look good to me, my baby. Tell me, do I look good too? Oh, baby, with your front tooth gone, whistling every time you yawn, you look good to me. Well, you look good to me. You look good to me, babe. Tell me, do I look good too? Well, baby, with your patch over your right eye, but that left one's pretty, it's gonna make me sigh. You look good to me. Well, you look good to me. You look good to me, my darling. Tell me, do I look good too? Oh, this verse is for my dad because he used to date crazy women. Well, I know a gal strung out on crack cocaine. She in rehab now, but when she get out again, I'ma tell you, you look good to me. Well, you look good to me. You look good to me, babe. Tell me, do I look good to you? Right. When I say you look good to me, people at home sing along. I'll be able to hear it. Our last verse. Well, you ride around town in that old wheelchair, but I can't stop staring at your pretty brown hair. Baby, you look good to me. Well, you look good to me. You look good to me, baby. Tell me, do I look good too?
Thank you, Frank Hoier. Thank you, Frank Hoier.